midst of the credit crunch, so the developer could sell his vacant lots to builders who could then build smaller houses. The county board, in fact, has voted to do this several times in recent years, not just in one subdivision, almost always over the protest of nearby homeowners who bought in what they thought would be a neighborhood of larger homes. Mona's sister organization, the Madison County Federation of Homeowner Associations, has even sued the Board of Supervisors to try to block such action because they thought it would lower the property values of existing homeowners. It's fair to note that you, Mr. Crosby, voted against such actions by the county board several times. Would you support lowering the minimum square footage requirement of any neighborhoods in Madison City? What else would you do to protect the property values of Madison neighborhoods?
Well, to start with, I'm glad you did finally point out that I did vote against it, because I don't. And I'm not going to spend my time talking on that, but I did vote against it. So that lets you know where I'm at on smaller or lowering the square footage requirements. What I'm interested in is the same thing that you're interested in. I got to admit, we're probably on the same page here. We certainly want to continue to keep our values. We certainly want to keep our minimum square footages that we've already done. So I'm not going to fight that particular battle. I'm going to tell you that I agree with the zonings that we have in. And again, my voting record has proven that I am against it and changing it. And especially, I don't like changing in the middle of the stream, which is one of the things they tried to do. So it's that simple. I'm going to support and continue to support and maintain the neighborhood requirements that we have. I am not for apartments. Well, that's coming later. But I'm not for apartments. I'm not for dropping the minimum square footage. I'm interested in keeping and maintaining the requirements that we have to maintain and keep the values that we have to call for here in Madison. Thank you.
Okay, Mayor Mary, 2 minutes.
Once again, Madison's first and foremost priority is protecting your home values, your investment. Mr. Crosby and I discussed back during the time when the county was lowering the square footages. That was not right. It was wrong. That's bait and switch. You don't do someone like that when they buy into a subdivision and put their life savings in it. And I like to think that I helped him make that decision. But I can tell you something. It's not just in watching your square footage. It's how you vote on issues that affect your whole subdivision. You can ask the residents of Belterre subdivision what the vote was when those residents pleaded with the Board of Supervisors not to zone the property across the street from their subdivision that will allow a convenience store. Because the 160-foot limitation on the zoning ordinance, it took 4 supervisors to vote to allow that. Today, as I speak to you, those residents are fighting that action in Supreme Court. And I'll let my opponents tell you how he voted in his rebuttal. Also, when we talk about Fontenelle and protecting their homeowners' rights and their subdivision, my opponent can speak to that too, how he voted in his rebuttal.
Would you like 1 minute for rebuttal?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir. Okay, when I voted, I shouldn't have to spend my whole time talking about my voting record as a rebuttal, but I will go ahead and do it. She wants to talk about a convenience store. That same zoning is doctor's offices, other things that can go in there. The guy that's developing it owns it, and he's developing actually Belterre. He was only half through Belterre at the time. So don't you think he was going and will be going to keep protect his investment? So, are we here to talk about the city of Madison or how the county is run and how the county votes? You know, she's great at smoke and mirrors, and she didn't help me with the vote, quite frankly. And I'll tell you other things. There are times I've been told how to vote, and I'm not going to do that either. And that's one of the reasons we sometimes don't get along. But I'm going to tell you, my vote, I am comfortable with every vote I've ever made, and for the long run, I feel that it's comfortable and best for the constituents, whether it's for the county or for the city. Thank you.
Your voting record is important. It's not slinging mud. It's how you vote. And we're all accountable. And I stand before you in judgment for what I've done. And your voting record is out there and it's in the minutes. So yes, we should know about a person's voting record.
Again, I am not ashamed of my voting record. I'm going to be honest with you. She just kind of voted up here and basically said that, she's not really going to be too worried about your fire protection. And I hope she doesn't have to eat those words. I promise that. And I hope that's for your benefit. But that right there is its own way with the vote. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I have no problem with my voting record. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our next key community issue is number 5, apartments. Mayor Mary, this one is for you to start. Madison has long had a policy of not permitting the construction of apartments